guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. And you know what? You are tuned in Inspirations for Your Life, and I'm so glad that you're with me. Tonight, it is Tuesday, December 19th. For those of you that are new, we start on a Saturday with a brand new master topic, and we roll all the way through the week, and we finish up on a Friday. We had a great guest last night, Mr. Paul Zolman, author of a great book, which we're going to be talking about in February. And love language linguist, really amazing guy. Learned a lot from him last night. And that language of love is a mystery to many, but it doesn't have to be. All right, guys, I do want to thank you, whether you're here at 9:05 at night, 9:05 in the morning, 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., or just midnight, or just lunchtime. Thank you so much for being here and making the choice to have inspirations for your life be part of your daily repertoire. So a little bit about me, because I know a lot of you say, hey, who is this guy on camera that's talking all about motivation? Like, who are you, right? So let me introduce myself. I'm John C. Morley, and yes, I am a podcast host and a podcast coach. And I'm a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. And, I typically work with companies, ladies and gentlemen, that bring in 10 million or more. And I'd love to help people find their story about their business, what gets them going, but from the truth, from the core. That's what I'm all about. All right, let's get into the show because I have a lot to share with you guys tonight. All right, so tonight's master topic is Unlocking Love's Enigma, a deep dive into the language of the heart. We're on series 2, which means we're in the second year, show 51, episode 4. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, in less than, what is it? It's not much time. I'll tell you now. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In 12 days, after 12 days, we're going to be in series 3. We'll be on the air 3 years. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. But I do want a big shout out, thank you to everyone, because, I asked you to help us reach our next milestone by Q1. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're almost there. We're at 94,600 downloads on the Inspirations for Your Life show. Very, very, very grateful for that, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so very much for helping us, for growing this. And, I really strive to give you guys amazing quality content. And I think that's pretty cool when I can see that it affects people's lives. I think that's like an amazing, amazing thing. And so what I want to talk to you tonight about is, yes, love's enigma. So understanding how love starts. I mean, how does it start? Do we just like snap our fingers and love happens? Well, not exactly. Do we read a book and then somebody just shows up in our life? Not quite. Do we, I don't know, just for better reason, eat a certain kind of food and then love comes into our life? No. So understanding how love starts is pretty important because if we understand how it starts and what keeps it going and things like that, that's really going to be very cool and help us become very, very successful. So I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the first part of love, all right, it's infatuation. Now, you might be saying, John, what the heck is infatuation? Well, I will tell you that infatuation is mostly with new love. A lot of times it's teen love, people that have never loved before. And infatuation is really interesting because infatuation, first of all, it's a noun, according to Merriam-Webster. And according to her, it's a feeling of foolish or obsessively strong love for, admiration for, or interest in someone or something. Strong and unreasoning attachment. The object of an unreasoning or foolish attachment. Now, the thing is, when we're infatuated over someone, right? Whether it be the opposite sex, whether it be the same sex, depending on what floats your preferences, we have to understand that sometimes what we think is love isn't love. Let me give you an example. We've all gone shopping before, right? Whether it's BJ's, Costco, ShopRite, Stop and Shop, Pathmark from many years ago, Food Town from many years ago. We've all done this. And how many of us have gone shopping, right, before we've eaten? That's the worst thing you can do. So you go shopping, and then you know what happens? You come home with all this useless junk that you don't want and things that you really shouldn't be buying. But your mind thinks this is the greatest thing. You know why? Because your stomach is basically hungry. And so it tells the mind, hey, mind, I'm really hungry. Let's buy this, buy this, buy this. And of course you do. The best thing to do is to go shopping on a full stomach. You will spend a lot less money and you will buy things that you actually want, right? So when we think about love, for example, I think the biggest thing about love is that it confuses people, just like with that analogy of the store, right? So when we, let's say, lock eyes with somebody, we get that glimpse, that smile, right? So let me talk a little more about this. So, what are signs of love infatuation? Well, sometimes people get confused between infatuation and love. So, you can tell your friends you're head over heels in love. That means you're infatuated. You quickly end up craving the person and maybe even becoming obsessed with everything they do, everything they wear, a perfume, a cologne. Um, Maybe you have physical manifestations like sweaty palms and a nervous stomach. This is not love. This is an infatuation. You create fantasies in your mind about him or her or whatever, and think of doing acts, whether they're G, PG, R, X, triple X. You create those in your mind. And you have this perceived visualization of the person and believe that they're just so perfect, that they're up on a pedestal, right? You have a superficial relationship. Pretty cool, right? That's a sign that you are basically in an infatuation, right? When we say you're in love, these are the kinds of things you will tell your friends. I'm serious about this person. My feelings are starting to develop for them slowly. I feel safe with this person. I feel content with this person. I feel at ease when I'm around them. Although I'm happy to see the person, I don't get nervous, anxious, or confused when I'm with them. You create real life scenarios about futures together. Like, I know after we're together for a year, it's going to be amazing when we go on our first ski trip, or it's going to be amazing when we take our first hike together, or whatever it is. You have a deep relationship based concept on shared intimacy and vulnerability and trust. You're not about, well, gee, and I hate to use this as an analogy, but we have the basis, right? And guys have used the basis for years, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but you got first base, you got second base, you got third place, and then you got home plate. Well, without getting into all of them, home plate is all the way, right? So the thing is, you're not trying to get to first, you're not trying to get to second, you're not trying to get to any of these things. You're just trying to get to know the person. And as the person develops with you, you become more comfortable. I remember a friend of mine was hanging with for a while, and the person was really intimate. And I knew this because their hands were always sweaty. They always had a drink in their hand. And you might say, well, gee, that sounds interesting. Their heart was racing fast. I don't mean slow, I mean really fast. So that when I ask them a question like, "What do you have a drink?" "Oh, no reason." And I'm like, "What are you drinking?" "Oh, just a beverage." And then I found out it was like, I don't know, 5% soda and like 90 5% alcohol, like vodka or gin, etc. And also, I find that people that are infatuated think it's love. Also, you get people that come out of college or maybe it's high school and they're like, oh, this is the person for me. It's like it's the first one they've seen. So it's like, this has to be like you get so wrapped up in what's happening because it's never happened before and you're like infatuated. And so infatuation means that you're so head over heels, that you're just so like out of control for this person, right? That's infatuation. And it shows up a lot of times with kids with first time love. Now, that might sound confusing, but it is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk a little about infatuation. So, infatuation is superficial. You view your partner as perfect. You see your partner's best side. You feel insecure about yourself. You feel excited and obsessed to be around them. You have high flying feelings. The moment they're in the room and then they leave, it's like you just take this nosedive. You idolize and fantasize and put them up on a pedestal way higher than you. And you don't know if the relationship is temporary. That's infatuation. Love, it's deep. You see the other person as a human being. You see your partner as a whole person. You feel secure about yourself, and you know that you have to love yourself first before you can love others. You feel safe and you feel supported. You have peaceful, content feelings. You're realistic, and you commit to making the relationship last. Now, can infatuation turn into love? Well, infatuation can be the very first stage of love. That doesn't mean everyone, however, needs to experience that adrenaline rush, right? If you're in the infatuation phase, um, you have to understand that it can lead to a more stable relationship later on, but it also can lead to a crash and burn, unfortunately. So let's talk a little more about the next thing, which would be mature love. So, mature love is really cool. Mature love has some interesting components to it. First thing about mature love is it's not about an act you're going to do. It's not about just a feeling. It's about the genuine care that you have for them and they have for you. Um, it's about touch, but in a way that is not 100% toward a sexual nature, but toward just the embrace of touch. It could be just holding someone's hands. It could be tapping them on the shoulder. It could be a hug. Okay? Fondness. You're fond of that person and you just like it. Mutual respect. This is a tough one because a lot of people think that if you do something right, that it must be perfect, but it's not. And I'll say it because a lot of people out there misinterpret mutual respect. Mutual respect does not mean only holding the door for you. It doesn't mean that I'm only going to listen to you. Mutual respect encompasses a lot of things. So if I was to give you a litany, so what is mutual respect? Let's talk about that. Mutual respect is about boundaries, understanding when things are okay, always having open communication, understanding people's feelings, okay? Because if you don't have mutual respect, you don't go further, right? It's like things end. When you have mutual respect, you foster a positive, inclusive relationship. And also, if you're doing this at work, an inclusive work environment. that promotes all diversity for anyone, no matter whether they're race, religion, sexual orientation, color, creed, or even political party. You make people feel valued. Okay. You want to improve the other just as much as you want to improve yourself. And when you do this, there isn't an agenda on your mind. Like, people that go out for one night stands, there isn't an agenda. If nothing happens, nothing happens. I'm more concerned about getting to know you and you getting to respect me. I think the best way to explain this is that when you're close to someone, and let's say it's moving too fast, and even though they say, well, gee, we don't have to do this, and they tell you that to make you feel comfortable, they're hoping, because they're really putting a lot of emphasis on you don't have to do it, they're hoping that you're going to see it as not a big deal, that they don't see it as a big deal. But if they didn't see it as a big deal, they wouldn't bring it up 5 million times, ladies and gentlemen. They would bring it up once. They would bring it up once. So don't be deceived by people that say, hey, it doesn't matter if we sleep together. It doesn't matter if we kiss. It doesn't matter if we play around. It doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, great, bring it up once, but don't bring it up every 5 minutes. Okay? So mutual respect is very, very, very important. And if we can embrace mutual respect in our lives, other people will do the same. Let's talk about different types of mutual respect. Active listening, being open to new possibilities, wanting to receive constructive feedback, having empathy as well as a deep understanding for what's going on, collaborating and cooperating, recognizing and appreciating, understanding when a conflict shows up, you want to resolve it. It doesn't matter if I'm right or not, but it does matter that I do what's right for the situation. That's pretty cool. Respect for boundaries. Okay. I don't care if this is in a romantic relationship, like I said, non-platonic or platonic, which would be just a friendship. When we have respect for people's boundaries, we're not going to take advantage of them. Equal opportunities. We hear about this in jobs all the time, but equal opportunities in life. Are you discriminating? Are you prejudiced? Do you support and encourage? Or do you just criticize, complain, take down, and what's another good word? Disrespect, demean the other person. See, that's a big problem. And so, as we're learning here, love is not something that starts in one night and finishes in one night. That's not love. There's other things for what we call that, but that's not love. And if you found that person that your eyes just light up for and you have to be around 7 days a week, that's not love either. Now, it could turn into love. So you might say, John, so how does it turn to love? Well, that's a great question. And I think the best way to answer that is, we have the stages. So we have infatuation, we have mature love, we have genuine care, we have fondness, we have mutual respect. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about the stages. But infatuation is that initial spark, okay, that will ignite the flame of your love. Now, it could be something that just teases it, or it could be something that lasts forever. Mature love is learning how to meander love as it stands the test of time. Genuine care is exploring what it means to be tender in the side of love, okay? Which goes well beyond emotions. Fondness is when we want to build that connection that is based in truth, warmth, and surrounded by affection. Not because we have to, but because we want to. And mutuals respect cornerstone, okay, is about being strong and enduring in love, right? And having open communication. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now. I'm John C. Morley, and it has been great to be with you guys tonight. Do check out believemeachieve.com. Scan that QR code. I know you will get lots of great nuggets from that. And before I do say goodbye to you guys, I want to let you know who I am. I'm John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm a podcast host and a podcast coach and a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. And again, I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and I love to create stories that are centered around truth, that the root starts from an authenticity of what somebody really is, what they stand for, what their passion is. I asked somebody the other day why they started a certain company. I was on a call, and they're like, "Oh, well, you want the short version or you want the quick version? Because the long version will take me a while." And I said, "Well, I was in the industry for X years, and person decided to start their own company." And so I said, "What got you into the field, though?" And they told me when they were 19 years old, they saw on a commercial online for Lincoln Tech. Now, they do lots of different things, right? And he went to his parents and said, "I think I want to give that a shot." And they're like, "Okay, well, let's explore it." He went to Lincoln Tech, and before you know it, he graduated. And then he worked for a company for several years, and they decided he wanted to do more. But I think knowing a story is good. If you don't know it, finding that story out can be just as priceless. And then sharing it with the world will just leave people not only in awe of what they've experienced, but also the fact of how it can shape and change their life and other people they care so much about. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your evening, and I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow, right? Be well, everyone. Take care.